Hey guys, welcome to Megan's Law. If you are new here, my name is Megan Renee, and over on TikTok, I do this little thing where I expose pedophiles who are using the app. When I thought about starting a YouTube channel, I thought about my two main sources of inspiration. We got Bailey Sarian, who I have been watching since before she even started Murder, Mystery, and Makeup. And then we've got Crime Junkies, who is actually out of Indianapolis, where I'm from as well. Ashley Flowers is one of my all-time idols when it comes to just retelling stories about true crime. So with that being said, welcome to Megan's Law. I know we've all heard about Megan's Law, but do you actually know where it originated from and why we have it to begin with? I'm gonna break down all the facts about Megan's Law and why it was so important for this to be passed. In the 90s, I remember as a little girl, I had to play outside until the streetlights came on. I could actually go to my nearby gas station and buy my mom's own cigarettes, Merit Menthol Ultralight 100s, please and thank you. Did anyone else do that? In the 90s, I walked to and from school in first grade. It was not uncommon. And while I'm sure my parents still worried about me, it was never on their mind that a predator could catch me. Unfortunately, on July 29th, 1994, a family's entire world was flipped upside down as their little girl was taken. Megan Nicole Kanka was born December 7th, 1986 to Maureen and Rich Kanka. They lived in Hamilton Township, New Jersey. And Maureen often referred to her as a little me, insinuating the close bond that they had. Megan liked to stop and pet neighborhood dogs and ride her bike and was described as a sweet little girl. Megan was a soon-to-be second grader who would oftentimes stop and pick flowers for her mother, and that's something that Maureen still remembers to this day. On July 29th, 1994, neighbor Jesse Dominiquaz lured Megan into his home. Being as he was just a neighbor, Megan thought nothing of it and went into his home. When Megan went missing and her parents notified police, Jesse was actually a part of that search party. Police ended up finding cut up strips of clothing that Megan's mom identified as her daughter's shorts and was found in a trash bin that was close to Jesse's home. Jesse was obviously investigated about it, but denied the entire thing. Jesse ended up admitting to the death of Megan with his roommate and then told authorities that he would lead them to Megan's body. He placed her small little body into a toy box and put it in a weeded area next to a portable toilet in a park that was only 3 miles from her home. Megan had been sexually assaulted and brutally murdered at only 7 years old. But that little girl fought back. They found bite marks that were consistent with Megan's teeth on Jesse's hand. After identifying bloodstains, hair, and fiber, they knew that Jesse was the one who did this. The biggest problem here is that Jesse was already arrested twice previously for assaulting children. In 1979, he pleaded guilty to the aggravated assault of just a 5-year-old little girl. He was actually given a suspended sentence due to the fact that he failed to go to the mandatory counseling. In 1981, Jesse reoffended and assaulted a 7-year-old little girl, where then he was placed in prison for 6 years. While he was in prison, he was given therapy treatment, where one of his therapists even stated that they thought that he would reoffend again. There ended up being a guilty verdict on all 8 charges against Jesse. Murder, felony kidnapping, 4 counts of aggravated sexual assault, and 2 counts of felony murder, causing death in the course of a certain specific felony. One of the biggest questions that Megan's parents had is, how did we not know? How did we not know that we had a sex offender living right next door to us? And it was just due to the fact that it was not public information. There was nothing out there that allowed the neighborhood to know what type of monster lived in their neighborhood, even though he had already been convicted twice. And this is how Megan's Law started. Just 1 month after the passing of their little girl, they started fighting even harder to make it be known who is living next door to you. California was the first state to pass this, and now every state has a registry where you can find every single convicted offender. The Sex Offender Registry is a database that is tracked by state. You are able to see their convictions, their photos, exactly the address that they're at. That way you can be informed about who you are surrounding yourself around. Maureen and Richard have stated that had they had known that a 2-time convicted child molester lived next door to them, they would have been able to protect their daughter more. In 1996, Megan's Law grew nationally. U.S. Congress passed a federal version of Megan's Law as an amendment to the Jacob Wetterling Crimes Against Children and Sexually Violent Offender Registry Act. This federal law required that every state have a sex offender registry. In the late 1990s to early 2000s, this is when Megan's Law went digitally and people could actually research it online. This made the information more accessible than ever, allowing members to be able to search by name, address, and even location. In 2006, the Adam Walsh Child Protection and Safety Act further expanded federal involvement by standardizing registration requirements and creating a national sex offender registry. Of course, there's always going to be debate and criticism, and Megan's Law is no different. While many think that this is powerful information, sometimes it is scrutinized due to the fact of saying that sex offenders are being attacked, that they don't have a privacy anymore. Megan's Law represents a huge turning point in the United States criminal justice history. While it was born out of tragedy, Megan's Law reflects how society wants to help protect children and protect their future. Understanding the history of Megan's Law helps us to have more informed conversations. You have the right to know who is living next door to you. You have the right to know if there are offenders in your area, and you have the right to protect yourself. Thank you guys so much for watching the history of Megan's Law, and I will see you guys next time.